Today on Mr. Media, I'll talk to Amy Parham, a former contestant on NBC's The Biggest Loser and the author of a new book, 10 Lessons from a Former Fat Girl. Stick around, and if you're lucky and work real hard, maybe less will stick to you. So much media, so little time. Who keeps track of it all? That would be me. This is Bob Andelman, and this is a Mr. Media interview. You know, MrMedia.com, MRmedia.com. Stop by and check it out. There are nearly 700 archived celebrity interviews for your listening pleasure. The show is brought to you today by thepartyauthority.us. Planning a wedding, mitzvah, or corporate event? For any and all occasions, call the Party Authority nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs. That's 1-800-342-5357, where one call does it all. Mr. Media is recorded live before a studio audience of reformed chubby chasers in the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. I've made it a policy to almost never comment on a woman's shape, figure, or apparent weight loss, or, God forbid, weight gain. It's a no-win situation. But for two reasons, I'm going to make an exception to that policy today in my interview with Amy Parham. First, it's because she's written a new book called 10 Lessons from a Former Fat Girl, Living with Less of You and More of Life. I figure she opened the door there. And second, because Amy and her husband Phil were guests on Mr. Media last summer when their first book and DVD, The 90-Day Fitness Challenge, were published. Now, I find them to be lovely people with a good sense of humor about their experiences in the weight loss trade and just nice to talk to. So, Amy, welcome back to Mr. Media.
Thank you for having me this morning, Bob.
My pleasure. And I gotta ask you, two books plus a DVD in 6 months. Now, I make my living writing books. Now, people like you doing this makes me look bad. Now, I want you to knock it off. Would you do that for me?
Well, I'm sorry, but we have a third one coming out in September too, called The Amazing Fitness Adventure for Kids. So that'll make it three in a DVD.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm pretending that we're at commercial break. What? What did you say?
I won't repeat it again. I don't want to upset you this
You
morning.
can't you can't do three books in a year. See, guys like me who get paid for doing that kind of thing, you make us look bad. It must come to an end.
Okay, well, after the third one, I'll promise to hold off for a little while.
All right. That's fair, and I appreciate that. You're a good, kind person, just like I said in the introduction. Now, how did you get away with doing a book without your husband? I mean, couldn't he have written, a former, fat guy or something? But
I decided to kick him to the curb this time. No, I think that probably a man might not buy a former fat guy book. I don't know. That was just the feeling of the publisher. But a lot of women out there can relate to the whole idea and concept of being the fat girl. You know, they have the skinny girls that are all around them and they feel like the fat girl. And I don't necessarily think of myself as the skinny girl, but I do want to think of myself as the fit girl. And so that's what this book's all about is the juxtaposition between the fat girl and the fit girl and, how to get there, how to get there mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and also, by losing
so
weight.
you're offering a complete package this time.
Yes, because I think that there are a lot of diet books that'll tell us, eat less or eat this or eat that and exercise this way and move more. And we all know that. Everybody knows that from the time I mean, I've been on diets since I was probably 12 years old, and I've done every one of them. But nobody tells you how to deal with the, mental aspects, the things that you do to sabotage yourself, the times when you go, in the refrigerator at night when you're not hungry because you're wanting to comfort yourself with food. So this book deals with that. And it also deals with some practical, tips on how to lose weight, you know, practically, about eating and exercise and all that. But more importantly, we're dealing with the root of the
And
problem.
how different is this book from the 90-Day Fitness Challenge?
It's very different. Although in the 90 Day Fitness Challenge, we provide, an inspirational devotion every day where people can read it and be inspired. This is really talking about some personal stories in my life. My parents were divorced when I was 10 years old. They owned a Dairy Queen restaurant. I was practically raised in
I
the back of
love
the
Dairy
Dairy
Queen.
Queen.
You know, when you get the
Oh, yeah.
vanilla and then they had the butterscotch topping that would freeze.
Yes.
Mmm.
Oh, honey, I've
Oh
eaten plenty of
man.
those
Oh
in
man,
my
I love
day.
Dairy Queen.
They're delicious. And the Buster
Yep.
bars. That was my thing. The Buster bars.
Parfaits and freezes. Oh my God. Well, that explains everything.
Yeah, right. But I do remember the particular moment when I first consciously used food to comfort myself, and I talk about that in the book. And I talk about how that when my youngest son Rhett was diagnosed with autism, that was the thing that I turned to at night after he'd gone to bed. I'd sit on the sofa and eat a gallon of ice cream. So ice cream has been my boyfriend, so to speak. And one of the chapters is Rocky Road is not
I
your
saw that.
boyfriend's
I like
name.
that.
So that's it's true.
So okay, so Phil's middle name is not Rocky Road. No. Okay.
No.
All right.
Rocky Road was my not mistress, I guess, but my little
I
affair on the
see.
side.
I see. Now, how long has it been that you've kept off? It's 105 pounds, is that right? How long has it been now?
Yeah. Well, we're going on our
Wow.
third year, really. We celebrate our second anniversary, and then in May will be the third year since we started our weight loss journey. So, yeah.
It's amazing because there's people who will write a book or go and do speaking things after a year. Oh, look at me! And then of
Mhm.
course, I mean, Kirstie Alley, unfortunately, is the best example of that, and or Oprah. You know, but you've kept it off. I mean,
Yeah, it's a daily, commitment, really. I mean, this is not about a diet. It's about
mhm.
changing your life and changing your mentalities. And so that's what we've learned is like, if you think about it as an event, then you're going to fail. But if you think about it as your life, then you're going to succeed because every day you have to make choices that keep you in that same, frame of mind.
Now we're going to take a break in a second, and I want to come back and talk about some of the specific lessons. But before we do, there's 10 lessons in the book, and we always think about things in terms of 10. David Letterman has his top 10 every night. uh, Jay Leno never tried to copying him by having his top 11. 11 just never seems to work. But before we get into the 10 themselves, was there something that you left behind? Was there an 11th that, if 11 was a popular number, that you would have had 11?
No, I think I really put everything into this book. I mean, I really feel like this is my baby. I put my heart and soul into it. I shared a lot of personal stories. Somebody told me that the name of the book should have been 10 Confessions from a Former Fat Girl because I really share so much about my life and my childhood and my family. And, I'm a kind of an open book anyway, but this really, I dug into some personal stuff and I feel like I've gotten everything out there, and I really hope
Do you
people
feel a little
enjoy it.
exposed when you do that? I mean, I work with people all the time telling their stories and the biography, help them write biographies and autobiographies. And I always worry sometimes that, people tell a lot about themselves in these stories and these books, and then they come back and they go, boy, I wish I hadn't done that.
Honey, after you're standing on stage in front of a million people in a sports bra and spandex, there's nothing else that you can do that's worse. So
All
I'm
right.
fine, I think.
Well, folks, let's take a quick break. This is Bob Andelman, and you're listening to the Mr. Media radio interview, some of you with TV, with Amy Parham, author of 10 Lessons from a Former Fat Girl, Living with Less of You and More of Life. And we'll be right back.
Hey, did you know that you can listen to the latest Mr. Media on your phone with the Stitcher app? Stitcher is smart radio for your smartphone. Mr. Media is on demand and on the go with Stitcher. Download Stitcher for your phone today. Get the free download at Stitcher.com. That's STITCHER.com.